So now I can record. I couldn't record from my phone.
All right.
All right.
Good.
We in this bitch. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, this is better using it from the computer. Okay. Now I got a split screen. All right.
There we go.
We in here.
Let's see how we do this shit. All right, man. Set this shit up. All right. There we go. I can at least level it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get my lighting is like.
Yeah, your ass is in this damn shadowy.
I know. I ain't got no natural light coming through my living room.
Oh man. Okay, that's fine though.
But I got
that makes all your shit sound deeper, man. You sound adds to the mystique, man. There you
go. Sound what?
It said it makes your shit sound deeper. It adds to the mystique.
Already.
It's like, yeah. Let me see. Say something.
Can you hear me?
Bam. All right, cool. It's on the speaker now. I didn't have it on the speaker before.
Okay. Is it switching back and forth? Like when I'm talking, does it like switch?
You, and then when I talk, it's green on me.
Okay. Right on.
That's dope.
Okay. So what's in the news? Like, so I think that the whole intro is good, like with the music or like however you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you got a catalog. You know what I mean? So whatever. Like
I don't even know.
A different fucking song every time we start. You know. So
that music is on a hard drive right on the back of this right there on the floor. I'm looking at it. It's like a whole bunch of shit. Actually, man, remember that shit I had you get on the poetry, fire shit. That shit was dope.
Oh man, my homegirl was doing like she was doing kind of open mic and she wanted me to get up there and I'm like, I don't remember none of the poems I wrote. Like
you not writing still?
Huh?
You not still writing?
Yeah, I'm still writing. I just don't learn the shit. Like I'm not in performing mode. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'll do it more for the page now. So it's like she come up here. I'm like, no, bitch. I'm fixing to come up there and look dumb. I can't remember none of this shit.
Hell yeah. I mean, you know, it's good shit, man. Like I was still listening to that old shit. Not the other day, but about a few months ago. I was like,
okay,
it's all right. It's all right. Still, you know, niggas talking that shit, man. I was like, I know that rhyme. I was on some I was talking some straight imagery, crazy shit. I didn't even it was just reading my mind on that one. So it wasn't even really any meaning behind that. But then you kind of put it in there. You know, the military.
Send it to me so I can hear it. I need a refresher.
Yeah, I need a refresher. Like, I'm gonna bring up I'm going to fire that old computer up because most likely what I will be doing is actually kind of like probably getting like a mic set up or something like that. Not necessarily for rhyming, but just for commentary and stuff.
Right on.
Put that on there. So I'm gonna need to fire the damn old ass computer back up and get it popped. But yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna have our intro music.
Intro music.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're gonna introduce ourselves. Like, how should we go about doing that? Like, you know, because I don't want to be, you know, like I don't want to do too much. You know what I'm saying? We just in this bitch. You know, like
yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, it depends on how you want to work it. Like I said, if we have the animation behind it, that'll be fly. And then like you just introduce it, you know, my shit even on there. If we're doing the Zoom and people are looking at this, they're gonna see it says Preston Banks on this motherfucker. So it's like it's kind of like says it already. So
and you see I got my alias. I got so many aliases out here.
I'm like Rashawn. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I need to get me. I feel like out of date. I need to get me like some old mysterious shit.
I be trying to run from the government. I don't want everybody knowing who the fuck.
Yeah, you just got 50 identities ass.
Right. They'll never catch me.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so we'll map out the introduction or what we want to have for that. I think like an introduction of the topic is going to be important as well. Just as far as what we're going to start with, what we're going to address, and then going through that. That's going to be very important. You know what I'm saying, for that. So that'll be something that we can definitely do. And yeah, man. So look, let's just jump into it, see how this shit work. So you're fucking with the Press Replay podcast. I'm Preston Banks.
Ree. Also known as Rita Fire, also known as Riri.
Oh, no. Also known as You Will Not Know. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? So what we're going to do here, we're going to touch on a lot of topics that are affecting our society. But what we're going to do that's a little different is we're going to give you some social commentary, not just your average look, not just your gossip column, not just passing along information that's been passed on. We're going to give you a perspective from me and as well as Reese. So going right into it, what's been dominating the news? Of course, if you've been living under a rock, you do not know, but most of you don't live under a rock, you live inside your phone. So you do realize that a young man by the name of Nipsey Hussle was murdered in front of his own building, the Marathon Clothing Store, on March 31st. He was a well-known rapper, a community activist, and an overall forward thinker. Now, the death has affected the community in a lot of ways. You've had opinions of people claiming conspiracy theory. You've had people saying that it's just regular gang activity, being that Nipsey was a member of the Rolling 60 Crips in South Central Los Angeles. Turning his life around and actually getting, not even necessarily turning his life around, but just him being a positive influence is what's been really, really left on social media and throughout the news stories with people, you know, praises from everybody from dignitaries and candlelight vigils being held across the world. So here we go. Reese, what do you think about it? How did this influence you or impact you in any way? And what have you noticed in the incidents and the days after his death and the people's response to it?
It's so much. It's so, really overwhelming. I'm not going to take anything away from his like hardcore fans because I wasn't like into his music like that. I just was ignorant to it. It wasn't that I didn't like it. I just kind of went over my head until the whole thing with the Grammys. And everybody was kind of talking about how he got robbed. So that was like, and then he had done a couple shows in Dallas last year. So I heard the buzz around the shows and everybody being excited, but I just never really tapped into the music. So after the Grammys is when I really kind of started trying to pick up on it a little bit. And then once this happened, it was kind of like, okay, so, I've been listening to the last album and I'm like, this nigga was a G. Like he was totally, before his time. It's like, listening to his mom. I don't know if you caught the clip of his mama talking about
that shit. Had it. That's some beauty. If like he came out of that. Oh
yeah, exactly. So it completes it. It makes you understand. Like you listen to his music. He's like a prophet, And we were kind of talking about that. He was one of the anointed ones. And this is the story of his existence. It was like he was a Christ for our generation. So. I mean, the way that he was taken away, it is so unfortunate and tragic. But the legacy that he leaves behind, it's like we wouldn't have seen any of this part in just how we rally around him and how much love there is in the world if this hadn't happened this way. So it was almost like, it was like she said, it's divine order. It's heartbreaking. It's like I said, there's so many layers to it. I mean, when I first heard that he got shot, it just kind of like, hit me in the chest because it was like just how much violence can we endure? Like our whole culture is drowning in violence all the time, so to hear that another Black man got shot, another rapper got shot, and like I said, this was like right when it happened. I really wasn't, connected to the music, but I knew who he was and I knew that he was, a rapper in our community. And it's just like, how many more of us have to get killed, and not to, it's like niggas are dying like this every day. You know what I mean? He's a celebrity, so he gets the attention, but people we love are constantly being taken away from us violently, and I just I feel like shining the light on him in this way is like everybody in the world feels the way that like small pockets of family feel, you know, every single day having to bury their dead, you know. So I'm it's crazy because it's like you over the course of the week, like I understand why, and I'm thinking about Kodak Black. Now I know that this has been
man, come on, man.
You know, but thinking about him, it's like this is why niggas get shot. Like this is why you the type of nigga that gets beat to death.
Like I think like with the Kodak Black situation, and you know, I'm not giving him a pass. I'm not saying that like that's acceptable because it's not. But at the same time, we have to stop see, you know, exaltation is a thing that happens with people when they're in front of cameras. But everybody's not the same. Okay? Just because they have a camera in their face and it may be popular doesn't mean that we have to look at their words with any importance.
I agree.
Nipsey, like I said, as far as my view, and I'll get back to the Kodak situation, but personally, as far as Nipsey Hussle, did not know him personally, but at the same time was a very big fan of his. I became a bigger fan. Like I was aware of him when he first came out with the Hustle in the House video, which was like about 10 years ago, but became a real fan of his when he dropped the Crenshaw mixtape, which was the mixtape that he was selling for $100. And then a whole campaign behind it called Proud to Pay, where he gave fans the choice to participate and patronize the album. He actually offered it for free on all the digital streaming platforms, but also gave you the option to pay for $100 with a concert ticket, with a signed autograph copy and these things of that nature. And he actually did pretty well with that. And what also got news behind that was Jay-Z bought 100 copies of it. Actually kind of like, you know, being the catalyst for people to go support it. So I thought that was important. And what that did, even that aspect right there showed his genius level marketing. You know what I'm saying? And actually understanding marketing to a standpoint, understanding exclusivity, and then understanding, you know, pricing, putting a value on your product. Right. And so it may not have been the biggest selling album, but his experiment worked because, of course, it works on us every day with high-end European brands. I know we just a couple of months ago had to deal with this whole Gucci thing where, you know, you have to deal with the situation where what's the difference between a Gucci shirt, you know, and a regular T-shirt? It says Gucci on it, you know? But, I mean, you'll pay the premium because of the label and the brand. So that's what he was doing at a ground level. So it was somebody that I definitely looked up to in that instance of just doing that. You know what I'm saying? Being able to understand marketing at that level and followed his career on, you know, through that. And as far as he's concerned, you know, I think what happens is a lot of times we limit people to being, you know, labels of, you know, rappers or, you know, entertainers and things of that nature. But one thing that you understood as far as Nipsey was concerned, whenever you saw an interview, listened to his music, you could see there was something deeper going on. And it was something more going on. And he was so ahead of his time as far as like everything. He was the person that the first rapper to embrace cryptocurrency and encourage other people to get into it. Go ahead.
That's a good point. Well, that's, you know, people are talking about Dr. Sebi, you know, being part of the conspiracy. I feel like if there was going to be anything as far as conspiratorial, and I hate the speculation of it all, but, you know, you can't help where your mind goes. You know what I'm saying? But
we talking to the seekers right here. We can speak in this level. Let's go.
Right. Okay. It will be the currency. And the thing about it is the United States is very, very protective of their currency dominating the globe. And over the last couple of years, we've been talking about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and it, you know, if everybody was to tap into it and say, "Fuck this dollar, we fixing to go this route,"
it'd be a problem, right?
Right.
But the thing is that I think like people don't understand, and I understand the Dr. Sebi aspect too, because that is very important, and that's something that he wasn't necessarily pushing, but he picked it up and said, "I'm gonna do a documentary based on this." But people have to understand that people like Nipsey, period, are a threat. I don't care what he's talking, like they're a threat.
Right.
And not just for one reason, for all the reasons. You see what I'm saying? It's not just one, oh, he's doing this, that puts him in target. No, that man was on crypto. He was developing STEM programs in his own community.
Yeah.
He was actually providing jobs for felons, for people in his community. providing jobs. He was encouraging gang members to leave the streets alone and giving them legal ways to make money.
He was on his Jesus steez.
Exactly.
Like he was doing Jesus type shit.
Exactly. So it's like he's a Christ figure. And what I want to say is, I want to say that in the aspect of, not in the sense that we need to worship a man, in the sense that he is realized potential for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's realized potential. We all capable of these things.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to do it. And if you actually listen to a lot of his music from the beginning of his career, the biggest theme of his music is visualizing something and manifesting that into reality.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he talks about.
Right.
You know, for the most part, it's pretty much all he talks about, having visions and then making that a reality and then mapping that out and following through. And I think he was just such ahead of the curve as far as everything that he did, like the Marathon clothing store that he had, you know, in his community that unfortunately he got killed in front of, was a smart store. You know, he had like the first smart store. He coined it as the world's first smart store. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, and was designed by a young gentleman named Idris Sandra, if I'm getting his current name correct. It's a young African gentleman that grew up in LA, but he's one of the most forward thinkers in our community as far as tech is concerned. Has worked with all the big major companies and is basically a genius level dude, but Nipsey saw that and had him working for him. As far as the cryptocurrency thing, he encouraged me to get into that and get into some apps. And I invested in cryptocurrency because of Nipsey, because of not just because of him, but, you know, a suggestion, listening and following him. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are things that this was not now, this is year and a half ago, 2 years ago, he was on that. And actually not just talking about it, he was taking trips across seas, getting with cryptocurrency developers and investing in companies and things of that nature. So it's like you're dealing with a real forward thinker and a real asset to our community. And that brings us into the Kodak Black situation that I want to say. And like I said, I'm not giving a young man a pass, but we have to get some perspective. We don't need to be gung-ho about everything, because some things are realistic and some things are unrealistic. First of all, Kodak Black saying that he wants to get with Lauren London and, you know, actually, you know, give her a year, let her cry, she's a whole widow. Do you actually think? I don't care if he has here. I don't care if he's been gone for 20 years.
It'll never happen.
Zach, come on, man. What are we talking about? Do you think that this man has a chance to even speak to this queen?
But the fact that he even has a fucking microphone, the fact that he even has any attention is what bothers me. Like, this nigga should be muted. He's been stupid.
But we as a people, and I'm not even going to use we as a people because that gets kind of weird, but we have to learn to mute people ourselves.
Exactly.
Some niggas' volume don't even need to be turned up in our even ears.
His shit never should have been turned up. He should have never been turned on.
Learn it, like, you know, you got that cousin that's at the funeral, or it don't matter what event. It could be the most serious event, and he gonna say something stupid. And you're gonna be like, "Cuz, why you say that for, cuz?" Man,
but see, this is the problem I have, is that we as Black people, and I feel like we need to be more protective of our culture. Hip hop is our culture, and we need to be more protective of it. We need to stand up for it. We need to set standards, and we don't have any standards, because if we had standards, a nigga like this would not have any airplay. You know what I mean? And I don't want to take away from him as a creator, because I like some of his music.
Exactly. You know you didn't dance that shit.
Yeah, you know, you know.
But keep it down.
But he shouldn't be taken seriously. Like, we have to, you know, I guess there was a point where, for people to listen to you, it seemed like one point in our musical history, you had to be intelligent on some level. You know, you had to be actually bringing something. You couldn't just ride a beat and say words that people like to hear. And it's like, now that's the standard. If you can ride a beat and you say some shit, you know, to make motherfuckers want to turn up, then people are all into you, and they throwing stacks of money your way. Like, he, to me, seems like somebody who is cognitively disabled and who should not have any type of, like, real, you know, he shouldn't have no access to no money and shit like that. Like, he needs to be.
The thing is, this is what we have to understand. We have to take that out of the equation, because it's a reality. He does have access. He has a large fan base. He has, I'm not going to say he has a lot of money because you know how that goes with the music industry politics, but he has influence. And the one thing that I worry about as far as that is concerned is, and I see a lot of people doing it, and I appreciate that, but at the same time, it goes to the point, how are we going to have standards when we have no ownership?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lack of ownership within our culture. So we can say ours, but we're still having, you know, people from other cultures signing checks and funding.
That's the problem. We don't take ownership. Like the whole thing with Lil Nas and how the Country Music Authority was able to say, get this shit off our billboard. Right.
You know why? Because it's dark in here. Hell no, nigga. You know what I'm saying? They said, no, you're not country. Even though it's clearly a country. Well, I mean, it's a country trap song or whatever like that. But of course, if Miley Cyrus gets on a song with somebody, it's hip hop.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Where's our regulating board to say, get this trash ass shit out of here? Like, you cannot bring this trash. And that's what happens. People dump their trash into our culture.
But think about it. We only have one category for hip hop. There should have been many categories. There should be a trap music section. There should be trap hop or mumble rap or whatever it is.
Ho hop.
Yeah, ho hop, Reggie. Yeah, ho hop. There you go. That's coined by Reese, so don't steal that one. Ho hop. We'll document that.
If you say it, shout it out. Just shout it out.
It's like, you know, there's different things. Like there was pop rock, alternative rock, grunge, all that type of shit when it came to rock. You know, I think the same thing should be applied to rap. I mean, we're that diverse.
Exactly.
That diverse, where we have different types. There should be adult contemporary hip hop, you know, where we listening to our old school shit. There should be dance hip hop. There should be all these categories because we're diverse. We're not just
hip hop and R&B. It's all one big ball of black.
One big ball of music. It's called, you know what it's called? Urban.
Right, urban. Nigger music is what they really want to call it. Nigger.
But you know, back in the day, they used to call it race music. You see what I'm saying? In the early days of the music industry, everything black was called race music. And you even had situations where black songwriters, you know, used to write songs. And then, of course, when they did like the album covers, they would put white boys on the album cover to sell the record.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've seen that.
We would write the song and then the white boy would sing it and go on tour and get money. You see what I'm saying? So it's like there's a real, the music industry is very racist. You know, it's very categorized. And of course, like I said, our shit is called, no matter how we sound, we could be twanging, doing all our shit. The only motherfucker that's getting over is the lead singer of Hootie and the Blowfish. Hootie. He getting over.
Right. It has to be, exactly.
But yeah, we call him Hootie, man. But Hootie, he out there getting it in. But other than that, you know, it's kind of like, yo, urban, man. That little kid is a genius, man. He made a song that's like country trap, and then boomed it to the top of the charts, and then they say, nah.
And that's all I want, is I want us to have a governing body that says no.
Yeah.
You can't dump your garbage over here. Like,
who's trying to do it, but I just want to put us in, like, there's a lot of fights that we need to fight besides chastising Kodak Black. Like, bruh, there wasn't a chance of him getting Lauren London. I'm sorry.
Somebody got to tell stupid motherfuckers to shut the fuck up. Somebody got to do it. You know, like, you can't play your radio. We ain't playing your shit at this station. You can't come to our city.
You saw that, right?
Yeah.
And LA was like, we're not playing your shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's the type of shit that needs to happen. People need to be made examples of. Like, you know, when you were growing up, you said some shit out of pocket, you did something out of pocket, you got punished. Now it's like a free for all. These people, he grow up, you can tell he was an unwanted child. Nobody was raising him. Nobody was disciplining him.
I mean, the streets raised him. He's from the. Have you heard No Flockin'?
I've heard some of his music, but I know.
Go listen to No Flockin'. It was his first song. That dude was like 15, 16 years old. Listen to the shit he's talking about. He's talking about street activity, and he's talking about it like, and that's my favorite song from him because I appreciate the rawness and the realness in it. Because I'm like, oh, this nigga's really with that. Like, he's one of them kids. But he's a talented young man, but at the same time, there's trouble that goes along with that. We have this two-sided thing, like, all right, if you listen to Nipsey Hussle's interviews when he first got on, and 10 years ago, he was intelligent. You could definitely see that. Like, there was still a spark there. But I mean, everything out of his mouth was, hey, cuz, you know, on Crip, man, I had to tell, you know, he was straight.
Yeah.
And he was like, with all that shit. And then you look at his interviews, the interviews within the last year, this dude's doing forums at you know, tech conventions. You know what I'm saying? Like sounding like the smartest man in the room.
Yeah.
So it's like
but look
we
at who his mama is. Even though,
exactly.
you know, look at who his mother is. There was some guidance there. People are now making money off of Kodak Black. You know, so the people who are making money off of him, regardless of what type of background, childhood he had, the people who are making money off of him, who are benefiting from his success, somebody needs to be there to groom him. And
Yeah,
that's what we don't.
in his circle. I saw the IG clip where his homies telling him, "Hey, calm down. No, don't do that. Don't say that." Man, some niggas is ignorant.
And and they need to get the fuck slapped out of them. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, it needs to be somebody in that circle that when he pushed back, I can say what I want to say, all that shit. No, nigga, you can't. And they need to get with his ass. At the end of the day, it's that, or, you know, at the end of the day, like, we all are grieving, you know, Nipsey Hussle, we all grieving the violence, but it's still niggas, it's violent, and it's always going to be that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the thing is with that, LA is pretty much a done deal for that nigga. He's done out. He can't, like, LA is off limits. And the thing is, you got to go out there. So at the end of the day,
he live out there, don't he? Don't he have a house out there?
I don't know where he had. I don't know where the man lived. But at the same time, LA is off limits, bro. Like, this, people, as you can see, people love Nipsey Hussle.
Right.
They love him. You had gangs coming together and forming, having a gang march where you had enemy Crip sets, Bloods, Crips, all these gangs come together and walk in unity for him. The Nation of Islam chapters out there came out in support for him. So it's like, he's loved out there. So there will be an education waiting on that man as soon as he touched down in LA.
Yeah.
So, you know, that'll be what it's supposed to be. And he'll understand, like, I love Nipsey. He's like, somebody's going to be like, I love Nipsey Hussle, and let me show you why.
Mm-hmm.
And let me show you how much. You know what I'm saying?
But
so it's like,
he been saying ignorant shit, and he should have been checked. It shouldn't have gotten to this point. You know what I mean? Where he, like, and that's why I hate the whole thing, cancel culture, mute culture. But at the end of the day, something, when he was talking reckless and looking dumb, you know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, then somebody should have said, no, you know, get your niggardly self over here, away from our culture. Like, we need to protect our culture. And
that's true.
From what hip hop is and what it's supposed to be, our music is supposed to be talking about what is happening with Nipsey Hussle, the pain that goes through that, what it is to be disenfranchised, what it is to try to make it out the mud. That's what hip hop is supposed to be about. It's not supposed to be about, you know, just partying, just trapping, and that's the only thing that we're upholding, you know. And I feel like, I mean, we might be at a turning point because the death of this man has affected a lot of people. So we may really be at a turning point with our culture, you know. But up until now, it seems like it's more about, you know, just glorifying what's most negative, and which is why people like, to me, Kodak Black, even though he has some level of talent, he's able to ascend, because to me, all niggas can rap. Like, you can go into any community, you gonna find 2 or 3 niggas that really can hold it down. You know what I'm saying?
We can do anything involving, you know, arts.
Exactly. Exactly. So to me, he's not the talent doesn't make you a shining light. You know what I mean? When people talk about, you know, even, you know, even when people talk about Biggie, it was beyond their talent. They set trends. You know what I mean? They formed culture. Like, just because, and a lot of these niggas now, it's not about whether they can set trends or form cultures. It's about if they can get likes and if they can get streams, and then the money in the machine goes behind them, and the culture is wasted with them, you know. So
look, man, I don't even want to, like, that's cool, you know, Kodak Black, I'm not, you know, fuck him, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not even, you know what I'm saying. One point that you did bring up that's been like the latest thing to kind of sweep through is the message from Nipsey's mother that she gave out, and then understanding his father as well, his lineage. He was an Eritrean activist as well, but understanding, seeing his mother, and just it leaves me speechless, because at the same time, it's like the light, the high level of consciousness possessed by this woman. And even understanding, like, damn, okay, so you come from that. You were raised by her.
Yeah.
Like, and then, of course, knowing his father, even though they weren't together, his father still had a big, you know, impact on his life, taking him over to Eritrea and staying over there for an extended period of time. But seeing her light and how she responded to the situation and her message to the people, like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, and it brings you full
Whoa.
circle. It brings some relief to the grief that people are feeling.
Yeah.
And it opens up. I mean, and it's the absolute truth. That's we are all born to die. That's what it is. And the way that he was taken was shocking and traumatic and painful. But like she said, he's
divine order.
Yeah, it's divine order, and and you see the divinity, the way that we're reacting, the way
exactly
together,
what that he was supposed to do, what he was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, none of us are making it out of this planet alive. We're all dying, but at the same time, how many of us are going to be able to touch as many lives, though?
Right. Exactly.
How many of us will die legends?
Right.
That's the thing that I think of focus on, and then that gets into another conversation that I have that I like to see, and I may be, kind of a contrarian when it comes to this, but it seemed to be I saw a lot of momentum behind this whole, now see, that's why Black people shouldn't help their own community talk. And honestly, for me, like I said, I may be a contrarian, but I feel that's some pussy ass shit. I feel that's a coward ass mentality. And the reason why I say that is because, for real.
That's because I feel totally different. You can't trust these fucking niggas. You can't.
I can't, because we're all gonna die.
For niggas.
We're all gonna die.
Yeah.
If there wasn't people like Nipsey, I'm so glad that he didn't have that mentality.
Yeah.
Because who
else would people like me? He can leave that for people like me.
Glad Nipsey wasn't like Reese, man. Don't be like Reese.
I'm just saying, man. I'm telling you, like you can't do nothing for these niggas, man. I mean, and I blame all the problems that Black people have. I blame everything on white supremacy. I blame Eric Holder on white supremacy. Everything that's wrong and fucked up with niggas and Black people, that's white supremacy. White people right, exactly. It's their fault. They did it. But
who has the courage? Like, I'm so glad that he didn't think like that, because the thing is, these programs, this legacy will continue.
I agree.
That program Vector 90, the workspace that he developed in there, his legacy will continue. His words will continue. His legend will live on. So he's gone, just like his mother said, he's gone in spirit, but his work was done. He laid the blueprint.
Yeah.
There's nothing more you want a nigga to do at this point. He laid the blueprint. And I know before his death, Nipsey always represented to me, when I listen to Nipsey Hussle, I feel like I'm going to accomplish all my goals.
Yeah.
That's how it makes me feel when I listen to this shit.
I agree.
It's motivational, man. It's like anything in your mind, you can do it. The marathon.
Right.
Like, the man has some songs, even where he has a song called This Is My Moment, or I think it's called This Is My Moment, from back in the day, where you can even hear him talk about predicting his death.
Mm-hmm.
And how he's going to be introduced in the world. He said Jesus Christ wouldn't have been known without Judas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, even listening to the newest album by him, because I've been having it on repeat, and so it's just like this nigga was a prophet.
That nigga was a nigga. It's like, and so he would say shit like that back then, and like that resonates, man. Mm-hmm. That man said that this knife in my back is the way that will introduce us, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking about this, you know what I'm saying? I hope your opportunity outlasts the opportunist. Mm-hmm. Like, these are words, man. This is what this man was speaking. So it's like, that lives on forever. He has a great catalog of music that you can live on forever. We're still talking about Tupac. You know, Tupac was killed like 20-something years ago.
Yeah, I remember. And that's one of the things that made me feel, thinking about, because I was all into Tupac, you know what I mean, when Tupac passed away. So hearing about Nipsey Hussle in this way, that's why it's like, I don't want to take anything away from his diehard fans. Like, I don't like people that, do the posing and shit. Like, it's people like you and people who really like followed his career and really loved him. And so it's heartbreaking for me when you get somebody snatched out of your culture like that. Like, it was.
But at the same time, this is the opportunity, because it's all about the real and the fake. Like, you real. So my thing to you is, as a Nipsey Hussle fan, because I can't even act like, see, the thing is, we're not going to miss him the way Lauren London is going to miss him.
That's heartbreaking too. That's heartbreaking.
See, that's the sad. That's sorrow.
That's what I'm talking about, niggas though. That's what I'm saying. That's why you can't. That's why niggas ain't shit, because the nigga took him from his wife and from his kids.
He still as real to me as he was before.
Right.
Because I didn't know him personally. But see, she's gonna miss the man. She's gonna miss Ermias. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna miss that man coming home every day.
Right.
The little inside jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Laying in the hair, smelling the motherfucker. Shit like that.
Yeah, the small things.
Those are the things that's the man. That's personal. Right. That's something that only they will understand. His mother, his father, his brother, his best friends, his circle, his kids. Mm-hmm. They won't be able to sit in his lap anymore. You know, shit like that.
Right.
So those are the things that I'll never understand, that grief and that level of sorrow when it comes to that man, because I didn't know him that way. Right. I knew him through his music and his public persona, which was Nipsey Hussle. So at the same time, it's just as real to me as it was before. But then we also have to speak about, isn't that what the word sacrifice means?
And that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what you put in my head saying it is sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
It was sacrifice.
He gave of himself. You know what I'm saying? He gave of himself to everyone. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what the word sacrifice means. And how many of us are willing to really sacrifice?
I'm not sacrificing nothing for these niggas out here, man. That's what I'm saying.
Fuck y'all niggas. I ain't sacrificing.
You niggas don't deserve it. Niggas don't deserve it. That man, he did not, I mean, it is what it is. It's the divine order. We accept that. It is what it is. But what if you didn't have a whole ass nigga trolling that day? You know what I mean? And I'm sure, like myself, you know, just sitting from the position I'm in, I would rather have just found him organically and not had to find him through tragedy if that meant he could be with his family and raise his kids. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that sacrifice that he made was for a group of people or people, you know, who have members in it who have no soul. You know, just.
I mean, the thing is, think about it though. The sacrifice, it is how it is. The sacrifice was made. It's over. But you can go and listen to the catalog, listen to the music, and being someone who is, I would consider, active or an activist or someone who actually brings their thoughts in order to reveal them and come to get, you know, put them out there. Boom, it happens. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just sparks, man. I mean, even he's been quoted to say a while ago that, you know, the greatest thing that you can accomplish is to inspire somebody. And of course, the base root spirit, you know what I'm saying? Like, to inspire.
Mm-hmm. That's real.
So he's inspired the world. Like, and the thing is that we're missing on the fact is, this is not a well-known rapper. Never been platinum, never been in the top of the media, never been on, you know, pop charts and all that. This is basically what would be considered a moderately known rapper. Mm-hmm. But look at the outpouring. Mm-hmm. Worldwide. There were candle vigils in Ethiopia. Mm-hmm. Candlelit vigils in Canada, all over Europe, all over the United States for this man. It's had a true impact on the world. So his son may not have him personally growing up. And that is, you know, something. Now, he has an older brother that I'm sure will step in that aspect. But
behind a rusty ass nigga, behind a rusty, dusty ass nigga beast. That's why. It's because of a rusty, nothing ass nigga. And my next question, what I do want us to talk about is who the fuck is paying Chris Darden? That's gonna lead us to some solutions.
And see, we talk this rusty ass nigga shit. And I know, this was some gang street shit. I understand. We talk this, and out of respect for people who are just kind of sensitive to this sort of thing, I'm going to be quiet about that. But what I will say is, at the end of the day, we will find out more later. Mm-hmm. This was not just a simple nigga doing some nigga shit crime.
I totally agree. I totally agree with that.
Simple ass, street shit, because they do that to throw you off.
Mm-hmm.
They do that and say,
look at his image, though, to me, looking at him, is I see like the same like absence of cognitive ability that I see with like Kodak Black. Like, this nigga look like you could just put a leash around his neck and just tell him what to do, you know. So he don't look like a real,
He's not
what'd you say?
So he's not conscious. He's not there.
No, he's not there. He's not there at all. So it's easy to know that he was propped up. Like, he probably don't even have what it takes to get mad enough to want to kill a nigga. You know what I mean? It's like,
these kind of people can be easily used and easily done. And the thing is, like I said, out of respect, but at the same time, this is not normal. What I will tell people that come across this cast is that this is not something that is just a random street shit killing, and they do that to throw you off.
Oh yeah, absolutely, it's not.
Shit, nothing more to see here, nigga shit. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Gang shit, set tripping. You know what I'm saying? They'll say all that shit to throw you off, so you don't follow through with your investigation, or you don't look deeper beyond the surface. The same thing with Malcolm. Oh, Nation of Islam infighting with the niggers. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Malcolm was killed by the Nation of Islam. That's just how it happened. Nigga shit. You know what I'm saying? Gang violence. You know what I'm saying? Black on black crime. You know how they do.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the excuse led to this. But at the same time, that man does not have any money in his pocket to afford Christopher Darden. We all know what Christopher Darden, what he stood for as far as the O.J. trial and that role that he played within that play and that act.
That's what I'm saying. Once bringing me back to my point, you are here for the people, and you here for the people, but these are these people exist amongst us. We have Christopher Dardens all laced up in our fucking culture who are benefiting off of the sacrifices.
I don't know how Christopher got into this situation, but he's there. And I expect there to be a super fast conviction, a super fast, whether it's conviction or plea, probably gonna plead insanity or do something similar to that. But I expect it to be I don't know how this is going to play out, but at the same time, like, this shit is solved too quick for me. It's just like 3 hours later. Oh, here's the guy. We knew what happened. It was a street shit. He was a snitch. Then she stood up on his sword and said, "You can't come around because you're a snitch." You know what I'm saying? All that shit. I'm like, nah, there's more to this shit. So we'll see. We'll see. But I think the important part is that, like his mother said, his job is done. His spirit lives throughout everybody.
Yeah.
This is just we're physical beings having a spiritual experience. Well, spiritual beings have a physical experience. There you go. Mm-hmm. And his mom, hey, she's in tune. We need more of the queens like that raising these young men, and we'll have more Nipsey Hussles. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? If they all come from earth like that, man, we are good to go.
Yeah.
That is straight light right there, man.
I agree. It's divine. I mean, it's like you said, it's divine order. You can't take nothing. What happens is supposed to happen in this way. Yeah. My thing is, I want to pluck out these nothing ass niggas. Like, I want to point them out and pluck them out.
That's a part of our experience here. You have to understand, that's a part of our experience. There is no light without darkness. There is no God without the devil. There is no positive without negative.
But it's fucked up when the devil got your face. You know what I mean? Like, it's easier when you can say, "Oh, I know what that is. I know exactly what you are." But, to not be able to see on the surface who's been completely corroded and corrupted by white supremacy. Because, even if he was propped up to do this, if Eric Holder was propped up to do this, or he did it on his own, it's rooted in white supremacy. Either the jealousy and the hatred is grounded in that, or just his stupidity and ability to be manipulated is grounded in that.
It's grounded in the same bullshit.
Right, it's grounded in the same bullshit, but it all goes back, like to that same white supremacist source, white supremacy.
But I think that what happens is you can't fall for the emotional tug of war. And that's what I would like for our people to do. Because as soon as this happened, and as soon as things started coming out as far as developments are concerned, you saw, dignitaries, or who I don't even consider, that's such a wrong word. Social media personalities.
Okay.
Which pretty much all these motherfuckers are now. They're not even rappers or entertainers or musicians or actors. They're just social media personalities now.
Yeah.
I hate our community. This is what happened when you try to help black people. All of this. And to me, that's falling. There you go. you know, we had this discussion where it was like, oh, it's some nigga shit.
Yeah.
I know it's some nigga shit. And I was like, no, it's more. Then when this first came out, I was like, oh, it's some nigga shit. But then I started.
Can you hear me?
And it's more here. But like I said, I'm just gonna reserve, and we will see. We will see what's going on. But I've just been Nipseying myself out for the last, this whole week. I've been straight shit on repeat. Like, and the thing is, it's good for me. So it's like, I was even reading books that the nigga suggested. You know what I'm saying? Like, back, and this was, a while ago. So I read a couple of books that he suggested as well. So it's like, I've been Nipseying myself out. And then to me, it's good music because it's motivating and it's about accomplishing them goals, man. So it's like it's really working out here. And I think that's something that we have to get in line with as well, understanding that everything out here is the universe is mental. So it's like nothing out here is more powerful than your mind. So we have to get into that abundance mind state where it's like, man, we're going to get whatever we want. Mm-hmm. Stop giving them the power. Stop it. Stop giving them the power. Stop.
But you have to know that that's what you're doing. That's what we have to
You have to be conscious enough to know that's what you're doing, and we do have.
But we don't know that that's what we're doing. When we allow the people
out here, I will give you that. There are some raggedy niggas out here who will never.
I'm just saying, I can't say it enough. And it's like, even just talking about our culture and protecting and preserving our culture. It's just so interesting because now once I started, like I said, listening to the music, I'm not even gonna lie. When the chick that actually won the Grammy, when she dropped her music, I was bumping the shit. You know what I'm saying? I was banging it in the car. But just to see the, disappointment that he lost that Grammy to her, is what kind of makes me say, okay, hold up. We need to take our fucking culture back. You know what I mean? Like, for a person to say that they don't like to rap and they win the Grammy in the rap category, they steal it from somebody who's actually talented and has love for the fucking craft. That's a problem, and that's when, what'd you say?
I said, yeah, I was agreeing.
That's a problem. And
that's gonna happen. It's like when you're training your dog and you want your dog to sit and your dog sits, you give your dog a treat. Mm-hmm. And that reinforces that you sitting is a good thing, because I reinforced it with stimulation of your physical. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Right. So it's programming. So ho-hop is, we're awarding ho-hop. So that encourages people to make more ho-hop. Right, exactly. And
to dump their trash onto our culture.
Now we'll nominate all this old fucking cool, this old black conscious shit. Mm-hmm. We'll get you niggas to come dress up, get your suits on, get all excited, because we know what you black niggers are. You're spiritual, and your energetic level, you're positive, you're spiritual, and you're hopeful. So you get all dressed up. Yeah, man, I'm gonna win. They did that to Jay-Z the year before. 444 got nominated for like 7 Grammys, didn't win shit.
Yeah, they did that to Lemonade too.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, that's cool. Come get dressed up. Oh yeah, the whole you the nigga. Oh God, yeah, you didn't win, Cardi. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like that's the thing. We know, like, but we can't buy into that. Him being there is a victory.
Now, see, this is the problem that I have though, is because we're not writing the history. So when you see when somebody's looking back at this shit, 50 years from now, and they say, oh, this chick was the first female to win, best hip hop rap album.
It won't be like Nipsey was nominated and that shit was the world changing album. It's gonna be Cardi B. Right. It's
exactly. She's putting a stamp on our history, and we're allowing for her to be able to do that. We let them write the history instead of us saying, we should have, like I said, as a culture, we gotta get in line and get in sync. Just like these motherfuckers said, get your black ass off these country music charts. We should have said, oh no, Grammy. And it's, to me, I don't watch the Grammys. I don't think anybody puts any real stock in the Grammys.
Exactly.
But because it's a part of the history that they are writing and they dominate writing the history. We have to be careful what story we allow them to tell about us, you know.
That's true. But, you know, I'm done with, and I never was into white folks validation. Like, no, I don't care what they say. That shit ain't cool to me. And it never was cool to me. It never was. So it's like they can have Cardi, they can have, you know, or they can have or award that. Yeah, I'm moving around, man. I'm about to go pick up my son. So we gonna do some car broadcasting in a second. Hold on. Until I get him. But yeah, so it's like I never was like into their validation as far as that's concerned, because it doesn't mean anything. Who's choosing this? It's not people from our culture, because if there was real people from our culture, Victory Lap would have won, you know, hands down.
Right. Exactly. So, and that's we saying the same thing. I want people to get their hands off of our culture and stop telling our stories, because people are going to believe that shit. You know what I mean? Like, we know the truth, but somebody on the surface, somebody, you know, from the future who's going to be looking at this shit, unearthing what music was in the United States during this period and that period. There are going to be so many actually talented people who should have had the notoriety, but it's going to be given to these subpar trash ass artists. You know, that's who's going to be written down in the history books. And that's what I want us to take control of our culture for. We don't have to, you know, uphold, you know, these fake ass awards that they put out, but we have to say, we have to define ourselves, and we have to determine how we are going to allow ourselves to be represented. And that's where we've lost control.
Now, I definitely agree with that. All right, this shit, come on, stay up, nigga. But I definitely agree with that. But I just.
Hello? Chris? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, you went on freeze frame for about 10 seconds.
Okay, this fucking shit is not staying up either, man. Hold on. I'm trying to get it to the point where it's kind of staying up, but it's not. It doesn't look like it's gonna do that, but it's all good. But yeah, like we're getting to a point where these YouTube shit, I think I'm gonna have to. Okay, that's not gonna work. This shit is gonna.
You want to pick it up later?
Yeah, let's pick it up later. And then go over.
You breaking up still.
Stop it.
You breaking up. Just text me when you stop moving. I'm gonna stop the recording and I'm gonna go back and watch it. So just text me when you stop moving, and we can figure out when we're gonna do this again, when we're gonna get back on. Press 1 for yes, press 2 for no. Okay, I'm about to text you. I'm fixing to stop the recording and end the meeting.